Our ecosystem is the California Serpentine, and it is just the ecosystem that our state needs. It's rocky and constantly changing, yet full of diverse life, mirroring California's ever-changing demographic population. The Serpentine gets its name from serpentinite, which is a type of rock that is formed when magma deep below the Earth's surface seeps through the crust and hardens upon meeting the cool temperatures at the surface. Due to serpentinite's porous nature, the plants that have established homes there tend to favor the harsh, drought-tolerant, nutrient-deficient, abundant heavy metal conditions. To bring the ecosystem back to near livable conditions, fungi are present like mycorrhiza in the soil deep below the serpentinite's surface and help to bring out the best of balance of nutrients to the soil through recycling the organic matter from the plants and animals that live within the serpentine. A type of plant species that can be found within the serpentinite is the Coloniza sparciflora, which is a type of flower found within the serpentine. Coloniza sparciflora contain both a fundamental and realized niche within the serpentine due to the consistent threat of predation from hungry herbivores. A fundamental niche is a type of biotic and abiotic conditions that a species can thrive and reproduce in. In contrast, a realized niche is an adjustment of a fundamental niche that results from predation, where the species must develop a more specific set of conditions after having interacted with another species, in this case herbivores interacting with the Colina sparciflora. The fundamental niche of the C. sparciflora is an array of calcium to magnesium ratio levels, varying amounts of organic matter in the surrounding environment. They can establish themselves on a large range of slope degrees regarding steeper or flatter hills and can thrive in high concentrations of heavy metals, low phosphorus, and barren nutrient levels. They're able to withstand very arid, moisture-lacking conditions and are very similar to types of plants that you would find in deserts. And they favor lower total plant biomass, meaning they tend to grow in areas with a lot of space that aren't occupied by very much vegetation. After being introduced to herbivores, their realized niches consist of landscapes that have a slope between 15 to 25 degrees. They favor soil that has an intermediate amount of phosphorus, sparse organic matter, and a very low calcium to magnesium ratio. Neoendemism refers to the introduction of species to a biome that are not natives to that biome, that found a way into that biome from a different neighboring biome. Essentially, the new establishment of a species into a biome from a biome that is not their home biome. In this case, if a species from a chaparral biome found a new home in a serpentine biome and began interacting with species in the serpentine, changing the chemistry within the biome. Here are some new endemic species in the Claytona, Sexosa for example, which found its place within the open rocky areas of the serpentine that contain minimal soil. And here is the silene serpentinicola that prefers serpentine environments that inhabit the coastal areas of California.
Serpentinite rock is an abiotic factor that characterizes this ecosystem. It is formed from intense deformation directly caused by the force of crustal movement. This creates fractures through which water flows into, leading to the formation of gray, green, black-colored rocks like the ones pictured below. Eventually, these rocks will weather away and turn into soil, which is a partially abiotic factor that also contributes to the extreme environment of this ecosystem. The biotic factors in a serpentine ecosystem are valuable players in facilitating the survival of the organisms that inhabit it. One such factor is the mycorrhizal relationship that plants and fungi share. These relationships are beneficial to plants that live in these ecosystems because they enhance the ability of plants to absorb essential nutrients. This is especially important in a serpentine ecosystem since nutrients can be limited. Additionally, these fungi produce enzymes that help decompose organic matter, which ends up acting as a source of nitrogen. Serpentine ecosystems are characterized by infertile soil. Subsequently, only plant species that can tolerate extreme conditions can thrive in these ecosystems. For example, some serpentine plants can tolerate high concentrations of nickel, while others can tolerate low levels of nitrogen. Another effect of serpentines is that they tend to stunt plant growth. As a result, woody plants such as Jeffrey pine often grow in a dwarfed or shrub-like form. Plants living in serpentine ecosystems have also developed adaptations to make the best of their surroundings. Some of these morphological traits include leaf hairs, protective pigments, and fleshy leaves. In terms of significance, the serpentine ecosystem is a center of diversity and endemism. This ecosystem is known for exerting strong selective pressures on species, ultimately leading to speciation. Additionally, it is a good example of isolation because density-independent phenomena, such as the formation of islands, has resulted in both the geographic and reproductive isolation of species living in serpentine environments. Finally, if speciation occurs at a rapid rate and species are isolated, diversity and endemism are bound to occur as well.
Serpentine soils are abundant in California, relatively, because serpentine soil itself is pretty rare. While Northern California has the most serpentine in North America, only 1% of California land area is actually serpentine. It's so common in California because of the specific minerals of serpentine rock are introduced by oceanic and continental plates colliding at subduction zones, and because we are surrounded by fault lines, we have an abundance of these minerals. Serpentine is found across California widespread and contributes greatly to California's biodiversity, with over 200 species endemic to the serpentine ecosystem. These species thrive because they have less competition from foreign species because of the serpentine's high heavy metals content, high magnesium to calcium ratios, and low nutrients are typically toxic to most plants. However, invasive species are still a challenge because more invasive species are beginning to overtake the ecosystem surrounding the serpentine, and in turn harming the serpentine ecosystem itself. Invasive species also brought, most famously, post-off-road seed or root disease, a spore that greatly damages the fauna of the serpentine, leading to significant mortality. Another threat to the ecosystem is climate change. Climate change is increasing the global temperature and levels of atmospheric nitrogen, and the serpentine is lacking the nitrogen it needs to flourish. Serpentine is extremely rare and unique and therefore has mass preservation efforts. Even though humans do not typically use the serpentine for agriculture, the driest serpentine is still threatened by humans increasingly searching for minerals or locations for geothermal power because the area is so hot. However, humans can also be greatly harmed by the serpentine because serpentinite rock has high levels of asbestos. Inside the green rock, there are little white veins, which are asbestos fibers. If serpentinite rock is disturbed, asbestos can be released into the air and inhaled, which can lead to increased risk of cancers and other health difficulties. The serpentine is a very unique ecosystem and hosts a lot of California's symbols. First, serpentine is actually the California state rock, known for its greenish-gray color, and we were the first state to establish a state rock. Purple needlegrass is the state grass. Its seeds were used by Native Americans as an important food source. It's known for its long lifespan, pushing almost 150 years. And lace lichen, our state lichen, is known for its intricate netting pattern. Finally, here's our works cited. Thank you for watching, and feel free to ask us any questions.